What's going on? Thank you for checking out this video about search engine optimization, or as some people like to refer to it as the acronym SEO. So in search engine optimization, there are a couple different components that are involved in ranking on Google, the 800-pound gorilla that everybody uses to find information these days. Just about everybody in the world's using it. I'm not going to say everybody because there are different search engines that exist, but this tends to be the most popular one. You've probably heard some people say, go ahead and Google it or something like that. That's usually because this is becoming, if not already, the #1 platform in search engines. So we are going to talk about in this video what it takes to actually get to the top. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to go to google.com and then we're going to do a search on Google itself. So you can follow along with me or you can watch this video. Google Webmaster Tools. And then we're going to go a little bit further and find a specific phrase. The single most important thing to do. So the first option that comes up, okay, this is at the top of search results, steps to a Google-friendly website. We're going to click on that, and this gives a list. All right, Google has already published information on what it takes to actually get to the top of their search results. Steps to a Google-friendly website. So there are some other links here that and help documents that you can review in your spare time or as you see fit to go down the rabbit hole to satisfy your questions. But we're going to get started with the fundamentals here. Okay, so we're talking about giving visitors the information that they're looking for. So Google has stated provide high quality content on your pages, especially your homepage. They take it a step further to say this is the single most important thing to do. So you need to create helpful, information-rich websites, which is to write pages that clearly and accurately describe your topic. So what are we looking at? Well, let's take a step back here, okay? When we're looking at search results, we're looking at paid ads, okay, advertising here. And if you want to get up here, all you have to do is go to ads.google.com/home, and you come to this page where you can click Start Now or sign in if you have a Gmail account, and you can put up an ad relatively quickly, okay? But you got to understand that you are paying per click. This is competitive, which is why people are paying for it, okay? It's paid advertising. So the way that they charge you for it is per click. Now, the higher you go in the search results to be at the coveted top spot, that tends to be a premium price. Now, there are things that you can do to reduce that cost, but for the most part, you're still going to be paying per click, so keep that in mind. This is the map listing down here. If you want to get into this, all you have to do is come back to another search. You will do google.com/places or /business, and you can click to get to a page like this. All you have to do is manage now, or again, sign in if you have a Gmail account, and you can just follow the prompts. You'll have to verify and validate it, but it's easy to do, and you can get a listing that you can now compete with in your map results, okay? And then down here we have what everybody knows to be the most popular. This is where search engine optimization, or SEO, moves people around. This is the different pages that people are talking about. By the way, fun fact, some of the ads can actually show up down here, and then you have some additional relevant search terms that seem to be popular around here too. Then you have the different pages down here. So that's the front page of Google when somebody's actually searching for something, okay? This is a little tool I have, don't worry about that, but we're focusing on ads, map listings, and then down here, the purpose of this video is search engine optimization to try and climb and compete in the marketplace to be the top spot here, and ideally you'd want to be the top spot here since this is where 70% of most of the web traffic is actually coming to help, to get help for any services that they have. So we're looking back at content, okay? So one of the pieces of content, this is a news site, okay? You want to be relevant, and one of the best ways to do that is to tell the Google algorithm, hey, we're talking about the subject matter because we're the authority on it. If you did a search for anything, Wikipedia always comes up, and you can see how much writing they have on their web pages in your spare time. So that's kind of the idea that this news site is bringing with their homepage too, as opposed to companies like the Wall Street Journal or the Chicago Tribune, who have all these different news stories just pasted up here like it's a billboard of different news pieces that you can click on to read the full story. This news site takes it a little bit differently. So they have different pages for health and fitness, finance, science, travel, global news, politics, all those different things. Whereas if you had a local business, okay, they have different pages that are built out for graduation limo rentals, prom and homecoming limo rentals, anniversaries, concerts, okay? Everything talking about, hey, you want a limousine or a party bus? We're the go-to party, okay? So you can see the differences between different pages that talk about different topics versus different pages that talk about the same industry, the same topic. Now they are considered the brand and the top option in search engine optimization results. Next, you also want to make sure that you have backlinks. Okay, so this is linking from other pages to your site. So this has to be natural, okay, but here's the idea. Google interprets a link from page A and it goes over to page B. So a good example is this little text right here. Okay, you see how it's highlighted? Look down here at the bottom of this browser. You highlight this and it says the domain. Okay, so it's linking back to its own page, but what if it took you to somewhere else? Okay, when you click on it and it takes you somewhere else on the World Wide Web, this is what we call a backlink. Now this can be a button, this can be text, this could be anything, but this is a backlink. That's the idea. And you would imagine that, you know, this acts as a vote. So the most votes, like in an election, wins, right? Not necessarily. So votes cast by pages that are themselves important way more heavily, okay? They're more valuable, and they help to make other pages important. So you want to have higher authorities. Not saying that you would get a backlink from Google.com or Walmart.com, but if you did, there's a higher chance that you're going to get more of that link juice flowing to you. And there are different kinds of backlinkings out there, different kinds of backlinks. So talk to an agency about that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But this is the idea of having backlinks, and you want it to be very natural. There are companies out there that tend to try and speed up the process, but if you go out and you get 100 links in a day, it's going to look what we call spammy. And that means that you're not going to look good or authoritative in Google's eyes. Why? Because you're trying to force the process. So you want it to look natural. And what looks natural? Actually getting links on a spare time basis, okay? As opposed to running out and grabbing everything as much as possible. And you can look at a little bit more about here with things to avoid, but that's kind of why this takes a long time to do well and to do right, because you have to reach out and ask for backlinks from other locations. So we've already talked about content. We've already talked about backlinks and how more backlinks and better content are going to climb up here. Now, there's going to be a couple differences that we're going to talk about here with on-page optimization and off-page search engine optimization. Now, with the on-page, what we're looking at, okay, this is your website. So you have content talking about your subject matter, and you have different service pages talking about the subject matter as well. Now, when you go to build a page, okay, you have different pages here. Let's go to the services page. Okay, you have services. And then with SEO settings, you have a page title. In WordPress, this is called a slug, but it's pretty much a permalink. It's the same idea. It's yourdomain.com/something.html. Then that tells the search engines, hey, this is a different page within this website. Then you have the page description and then some meta keywords. So on occasion, you'll also be able to have footer code or header code. These are boxes that are typically reserved for inserting code right into your web page. So instead of knowing HTML coding and programming language, you can just copy a link, put it in here, and it's a lot more user-friendly of a platform. If you are code friendly, if you are familiar with it, then you could just go into your cascading style sheet and this back end of this. You don't have to use a builder like this. You can just type up a website completely from scratch, but this is a lot faster and more user-friendly, and a lot of people tend to use this. Now, why do these matter? Well, some people like to go into their website, okay, they like to use a broad title, and they like to show the title on top of their pages. Well, that takes away from being able to optimize every single page for a search result word that you want to show for, especially a site description and meta keywords. So I keep these blank so that I can focus on every single page. And that's a nice little tip, okay? That's a nice little trick and strategy so that you can tell search results, okay? You can tell Google when they index you, okay? This is pretty much like a Rolodex of websites. And you can have these different pages indexed in this website as well. So when something is indexed in Google, it becomes a web property. Now you can start doing things with it to move it up the search results. So remember, we have the ad right here at the top. Someone's paying for this. And then you have the website right here. So watch what watch what we're talking about when we actually open this website. Okay, so you have a lot of information right here. So they're talking about Grant Cardone, okay, and he's talking about Grant Cardone. Now, where are we going to look at the rest of the words? Where do those words come from? Well, we want to talk about 10x your business, 10x your income, 10x your life. This is just an example. I'm not marketing for this guy. He's not paying me. When you go over to this, you can't really find all those words. But he is talking about 10x your business, income, and life. So he's making this a little bit more relevant, and he's probably talking about this or referencing this somewhere else on this webpage. And maybe he's got additional web pages on his website here talking about that as well. But when you hover over this tab in Google Chrome, you see a drop-down menu, 10x your business, 10x your income, 10x your life. Now that becomes a title, okay? And you also have a description down here which you need to make specifically relevant. Now, don't keyword stuff this, okay? You don't see 10x your business, 10x your income, 10x your life stuffed into here. You do see 10x your life, but it's not word for word and word for word here, okay? Google is very understanding of when you're trying to game the system, so make it natural. Give value to Google indexing, okay? So you have the OnPage, which is talking about this, but you also have to make sure that you're building this out well. Make sure it's user-friendly. Here's a good idea. Actually consider trying to navigate your web page using just your keyboard. Make it ADA compliant to the point that you're actually utilizing it with the intent of having as many users as possible or visitors actually engage with your website. So if somebody has some disabilities and they need to only use their keyboard to try and navigate your website, you want to make it user-friendly for them as well. So that's the on page, and then the off page just goes back to the idea of having different places that are linking to your website. Now, not all backlinks are created equal, okay? You can go get some Joe Schmo blog backlink, but it's probably a very powerful backlink because it's coming from a place that a lot of people use. And then there are places that you can get a backlink from that's not very beneficial because not many people use it, not many people engage with it. There aren't probably many referring domains or referring backlinks coming back to this in a way that's passing a vote over to it. So this can be very complex, and you can dig through this as much as you want. I highly recommend just outsourcing it and buying the service from somebody who's really knowledgeable and competent about it, because what they can do is start helping you to get a map listing. If you have multiple locations, you can get multiple map listings. But think about this. Instead of just having one ad here and one here and one here, what if you had your domain here? What if you had an inner page here? What if you had a Yelp listing, a Facebook listing? Okay, what if you literally painted the entire first page of Google your company? What would that do? What do you think that would do for the volume of business that you have coming through? But it all starts with one. You got to be able to get one into the marketplace and get it up here so that you can capture more calls from the top of search results. Ideally, you want to get into the map listing. Ideally, you want to get up here. But once you've reached these places, you have an option. Can you start going into surrounding areas, or do you want to dominate this whole page first and get all your competition off there? So that's the idea of a quick overview of search engine optimization. Remember, Google Webmaster Tools, the single most important thing to do. You can come up to this for yourself and you can dig in as much as you'd like to understand it. I hope this helped, and I hope you found this incredibly informative.